This lecture with Swami Dhyan Giten on intuition, the inner source of love, truth and wisdom, was recorded on the 14th of March 2014.
Intuition, the inner source of love, truth and wisdom. What is intuition? How can we develop trust in ourselves, in our hearts and in our intuition? How can we develop our intuition so that it becomes a source of love, truth and wisdom? How can we be in contact with the whole through our intuition? Intuition is our true inner voice, our constant, available inner source of love, truth and wisdom, the silent voice of existence within ourselves. Through our intuition, we are in contact with the whole. Intuition is the voice of the heart. Intuition is our inner teacher and guide in life. Intuition means to listen to the silent whisperings of our own heart. Intuition basically means to develop a trust in ourselves, to develop a trust in our own heart, to develop a trust in our own inner being. Intuition is a yes to life. Intuition is to develop a trust in life. Intuition is learning to listen to life. Intuition is to be in contact with the whole. Intuition means to follow the whisperings of the inner, in a basic yes to life. When we allow ourselves to follow the silent whisperings of intuition, the fragrance of love arises. The word intuition means to know from within ourselves. Intuition means to learn to listen and to understand the existential language. The existential language is the language of silence. Learning to listen to the intuition means to develop the subtle listening that is needed to hear the silent voice of our own heart and being. The basic vocabulary of the existential language is an inner quality of love, joy, trust, silence, truth and wisdom. Intuition means to learn to be in contact with the inner source of love, truth and wisdom, which is already present within ourselves as a constant, available inner source. Through the 5 physical senses, sight, hearing, smell, taste and touch, we learn to know the outer world. Through the intuition, the 6th sense, we learn to know the inner world. The 5 physical senses are limited in time and space, while the intuition is not limited by distance and geography. The intuition has the capacity to see beyond time and space. To see the world through the 5 physical senses are like seeing the waves on the periphery of the ocean. To see the world with the eyes of intuition is like being in contact with the depth of the same ocean. Through the 5 physical senses we see the parts. Through the intuition we are in contact with the whole. To see life from the perspective of intuition is to have vision. To see life from the perspective of intuition is to see life from the perspective of wholeness. It is to understand that life is basically one and that we are part of life. While the intellect can only see the details, intuition sees the whole. To see life from the perspective of intuition is like looking at life from the summit of the mountain, whereas seeing life only from the perspective of intellect is like looking at life from the foot of the mountain. Through learning to listen to our intuition, we learn to be in contact with the whole. Intuition is basically a question of developing a trust in ourselves and in the silent voice of our own heart and being. Through learning to trust our intuition, we can get a sense of being lovingly and carefully guided in life. When we have developed trust in our intuition, intuition is not just single impulses any longer. It becomes a constant, available inner source of love, truth, and wisdom. We can just close our eyes, go within ourselves, and always receive the right guidance. Our heart is the door to how much we can allow existence to guide us. Our heart is the door to how much we can allow life to support us in our psychological development process towards spiritual maturity. Intuition is basically the function of our heart. Our heart is the door to how much we can allow life to guide us. Instead of being directed by our own ideas, concepts, and expectations of how things and life should be. Since the days of Aristotle, we have been taught that logic is the only way to reach a solution. But while the logic works in a linear step-by-step process, the intuition simply takes a quantum leap to a solution without any intermediate steps. Intuition is about learning to listen to the silent whisperings of our heart. To listen to our heart is not always easy, but it is always true. Life is really very simple. In each moment we have the opportunity to choose between saying yes or no, to listen to our intuition, to listen to our own true inner voice, the existential voice within ourselves. When we say yes, we have a contact with existence, and we receive nourishment, love, joy, and inspiration. When we say no, we create a separation from life and begin to create dreams and expectations of how it should be. We begin to live in the memories of the past and in the fantasies and the dreams of the future, as if any other time than here and now really could make us happy and satisfied. Intuition is to learn to live from our inner being, from our authentic self, from our essence, from existence within ourselves. Intuition is to learn to live our own truth. There are basically two kinds of people in the world: the outer-directed people and the inner-directed people. The outer-directed people are directed from without themselves, and the inner-directed people are directed from within themselves. Intuition is to learn to be directed from within ourselves, from our own source of love, truth, and wisdom, instead of being directed from outer sources and by other people's ideas, opinions, and expectations. Through learning to listen to the love and truth of our own heart and being, we always know what is the truth in a situation. Through learning to listen to the truth of our own heart, we can always see the situation in the healing light of love. Through listening to the truth of our own being, we can always see the situation with the vision of the whole. Intuition is to take creative decisions. Through developing a deeper trust in our intuition, mechanical and habitual patterns, which was safe and comfortable, begins to change into conscious decisions, into constant conscious choices. Conscious choices are not always easy, but they are always true. Intuition is a trust to the unknown. Intuition is an invitation to the unknown. Intuition is to open our heart to the unknown. Intuition is to change perspective from the safe and secure to a thirst for risk and adventure. Intuition is a yes to the unknown mystery of the moment. Intuition is to follow the vision of the heart. Intuition is the art of the heart. Intuition is the art of the moment. Intuition is always in the moment, in the here and now. Our heart has no rules, no expectations. Our heart lives in the here and now, in the moment. Intuition is about learning to distinguish between the silent whisperings of our heart and the endless wishes, desires, and expectations of the ego. Intuition is about learning to follow our own inner guidance, instead of listening to outer forces and other people. It is when we realize that everything that we need for a loving, creative and satisfying life is already within ourselves that we begin to listen to the whisperings of the inner. Through developing a trust in our own self, we do not as easily become a victim for outer forces. Intuition is the art of the moment. Intuition is always in the moment, in the here and now. When the intellect swings all the time like the pendulum of a clock between the memories of the past and the dreams and the fantasies of the future, intuition is always in the moment, always in the here and now. The more we develop our inner being, our inner source of love and truth, the inner quality of being here and now, the more we have also access to our intuition. Intuition is about moving out of our own way and moving out of our own way of our sense of I. It's about moving out of the way of our own ideas about how things should be and just be with what is. It is to be with the living reality of the moment. In periods of chaos, of confusion and change, it can be difficult to hear the silent whisperings of intuition because of the restlessness and chaos of the mind. It's like the waves on the surface of our consciousness is rising so high so that it becomes difficult to come in contact with our inner being, with the depth of our own consciousness. But in the midst of chaos, the center of our being exists like an inner source of silence, which is not touched by the chaos on the surface. In times of chaos, we can always return to this inner source of silence. We all have the same capacity to develop our intuition, and love and meditation are the two basic ways to develop our intuition. The school has taught us to be skeptical, but it has not taught us how to trust. Intuition basically means to develop a trust in ourselves and in our own heart and being. My own way has always been to trust my own intuition and myself. My intuition has always been my inner teacher and guide in life, long before I was even aware of the fact that I was actually listening to my own intuition. I have always trusted my own heart, my own love, trust, intelligence, wisdom and creativity, and it has always led me right, even when it has meant to go against the flock, go against the mass of people, when it has meant to go against others and to put up creative boundaries against that which do not resonate with my own heart, which do not resonate with my own truth. Intuition is learning to respond to the situation in the moment, instead of reacting from preconceived ideas, concepts and notions. It is that when we can let go of things that they really happen. It is when we can let go of our own ideas about how things should be that we can allow our intuition to guide us. Whether an idea or a project has support in existence, it grows by itself. Through following our own heart, we also help others to follow their own heart. Through following our own truth, we also help others to follow their own truth. Intuition is the voice of our inner being. Intuition is the voice of existence within ourselves. Through listening to the intuition, we are in contact with the whole. A result of following our own intuition is a deep feeling of joy, a deep sense of meaning and an inner satisfaction. To follow the silent voice of intuition is to surrender to existence. Intuition is already in contact with intuition, with that which is larger than ourselves. When we live in contact with existence, life becomes immensely satisfying. Intuition is a trust that if we follow our heart, the whole becomes enriched.